Understanding voluntary tax withholding under 26 CFR Section 31.3402p, a step-by-step analysis. The federal withholding system, established under U.S. tax law, often leads to misconceptions about whether income tax withholding is mandatory or voluntary. This guide examines the key aspects of 26 CFR Section 31.3402p and the related statutory definitions to shed light on the voluntary nature of withholding agreements, empowering workers to make informed decisions about their earnings. Step 1. The basis of voluntary withholding agreements. Key points. Origin of withholding agreements. Section 3402p of the Internal Revenue Code, implemented through 26 CFR Section 31.3402p, governs voluntary tax withholding agreements. Employees who wish to have taxes withheld must complete a W-4 form, which constitutes a request to initiate the withholding process. Mutual agreement. The regulation explicitly states that withholding is based on mutual consent between employer and employee. Either party can terminate the agreement by providing signed, written notice. Implication. Withholding is not a mandatory obligation, it is a bilateral agreement based on mutual consent. Step 2. Understanding the definition of employee. Legal definition under Section 3401c. The term employee includes officers and employees of the United States, state governments, and their subdivisions, elected officials, officers of corporations. Exclusions. Private sector workers are not explicitly included in this definition, which applies primarily to public officials and corporate officers. Observation. Private sector employees who sign W-4 forms may do so voluntarily, not out of statutory obligation. Step 3. The contractual nature of withholding. Tax withholding agreements function under principles of contract law. Offer and acceptance. The employee submits a W-4 form as a request, offer. The employer's act of withholding taxes constitutes acceptance. Key rights. Request versus requirement. Submitting a W-4 form is a request, not a compulsory act. Termination rights. Employees can terminate withholding agreements at any time with written notice. Conclusion. Withholding is framed as a matter of choice, preserving individual autonomy. Step 4. Modern implications of withholding. Despite the voluntary framework, widespread misconceptions have created challenges. Economic servitude. Workers who unknowingly submit W-4 forms may inadvertently subject themselves to wage deductions without full understanding. Knowledge gap. Misinformation and societal norms discourage workers from exercising their rights to decline or terminate withholding agreements. Impact. These factors shift the burden of proof from the government to the individual, undermining economic autonomy. Step 5. Recommendations for empowerment to restore the voluntary nature of tax withholding and ensure informed consent. The following reforms are proposed. Mandatory disclosure. Employers should be required to inform employees in writing about their rights to decline or terminate withholding agreements. Clarification of employee. The IRS should provide clear guidance on the statutory definition of employee to prevent overreach. Worker education. Educational initiatives should empower workers to understand their rights and the voluntary nature of withholding. Conclusion. Reclaiming economic freedom. The law, as outlined in 26 CFR Section 31.3402p and Section 3401c, emphasizes that income tax withholding is a voluntary agreement, not an inherent obligation. However, misinformation and administrative practices have obscured this reality, leading many to unwittingly participate in wage deductions. Call to action. Workers must assert their rights to reclaim control over their labor and earnings. By understanding the law and declining to volunteer for withholding agreements when unnecessary, individuals can exercise their autonomy and safeguard their economic freedom. Empowering quote. A worker's toil, both sweat and grace, should not be taxed at breakneck pace. The law, in plain and simple script, frees the man whose chains were clipped.